Today we're going to talk about some of the basic tools you need to get started developing 35mm and 120 medium format black and white film at home. Now you may think you need a full darkroom to develop film, however, it can actually easily be done at home either in your bathroom or your kitchen. So today we're going to talk about some of the basic tools that you need and give you a look at what they look like and hopefully break down the process a little bit to get you a little bit more familiar with the things that you're going to be using before you're actually developing your first roll of film. So to get started, the first thing you're going to need is a can opener. This gets used Today we're going to talk about some of the basic equipment that you need to get started developing black and white film at home. Now you may think that you need a full darkroom to develop film, however you can actually develop black and white film fairly easily at home either in your bathroom or in your kitchen. Now you need a few tools to get started, so we'll go over those today and give you a look at them and talk a little bit about them just to get you a little bit more comfortable with the process before you begin. So let's go over some of the things that you need. You're going to need a can opener. You need this to open up a 35mm cassette. The metal canister comes open fairly easily with just your average can opener. Next, you're going to need a pair of scissors. Scissors are used both in developing 35mm film and 120 medium format film. You need a good pair of scissors, and then you also need a set of plastic containers. Now, if you're using a traditional 3-bath system with a develop, stop, and fix, you are going to need some containers for when you dilute your chemistry from the purchased concentrate into your working solution. So you can either reuse chemistry bottles as you start going along, or you can use an empty milk jug or some container like that you have around the house. Next, you're going to need a pair of gloves. It's incredibly important to wear gloves when you're working in the darkroom and developing film. They protect both you and your film from chemicals and help prevent cross-contamination throughout the process. It's incredibly important to have a good pair of gloves and to wear them when you're developing film. Next, you're going to need a funnel and a measuring container. This is going to be useful for diluting your chemistry and then also for pouring it back into the bottles as you're doing the developing process. So I highly recommend having those on hand. Also, you're gonna need a sponge. Now, this is gonna get used to squeegee and clean and dry your film at the very end. I highly recommend buying a $6 little squeegee like this that is designed for this. It will hold and run through your film so much easier than if you try to get a sponge just from the store, which can actually damage your film. So I highly recommend using a proper sponge and squeegee for your film as you're developing. Next, you need a small notebook. Cannot stress this enough. You need to be taking notes when you're working in the darkroom. There is no way that you'll know afterwards what you did, and then when you go to either scan or print your film, it's very easy to get lost in the process. It is incredibly important that you have a notebook on hand and you be taking notes as you're developing your film. You're also going to need some negative sleeves. These are just clear plastic sleeves that help hold and keep your negatives clean and safe after you finish developing. Now, it's very important to have these and make sure you have these before you start developing. Otherwise, you'll have a roll of film and nothing to put it in that will protect it. So it's very important to have negative sleeves for both 35 and 120 film when you're developing. You're also going to need a changing bag like this. Essentially what this does is it has 2 zippers, which lets you make sure all of the light is sealed. And then it actually has armholes like this. And so when you go to change your film, you can do it in a bag like this in a closet, and then you won't expose your film to light. This is a key piece when you're developing film at home. I would highly recommend buying a big changing bag. I'll explain it in a later video, but it helps to have more room in there when you're working, especially if you're changing multiple rolls of film or if you're changing medium format film. The next thing that you're going to need are chemicals. Now, you can develop black and white film with one of 2 main chemical bath systems, either a 3-bath, develop, stop, and fix, or there's another solution that you can get from Cinestill as a powder, and then you turn it into a liquid, which is DF96. Now, this is a self-terminating developer and a fixing agent all in one step, which is very fast and easy to use if you don't want to deal with multiple chemicals. So you need chemicals to develop your film. The final thing that you're going to need are tanks and reels. This is what you develop the film in, and you can actually get them in different sizes. So if you get a bigger size, you can hold more rolls of film in it, and you can develop film more efficiently at home. And you can actually pour chemicals into and out of the tanks without getting any light in. So you're able to do multiple baths for your film without exposing it to light. This is how you can develop it either in your bathroom or your kitchen with the lights on. So these tanks are very important. So we're gonna open one of these up and take a look at what is inside of these and how they work. So first you have a lid, then there's a small spindle in here that you can use to agitate your film while you're developing it. Then you have a funnel. Now this funnel locks and clicks in place like this. And when it's clicked and locked in place, you can actually pour chemicals into and out of the tank without exposing the film inside to light. So you can open that up, and then inside we have a little spool and the reel the film goes on inside of it. Now these reels actually twist like this, and that's how you can get the film on, which we'll show in another video. But these spools actually can twist open and resize so that you can use them for medium format film as well. So these tanks are actually versatile because you can develop both 35mm and 120 medium format film in them. So that's a look at some of the basic equipment that you need to develop both 35mm and 120 medium format black and white film at home.